chapter 16, we're going to talk about light. We're only going to talk about light very briefly. We'll get more into detail about light and electromagnetic waves as we talk about reflection and refraction in detail for chapter 17 and 18. So just a few general ideas about light. The speed of light, what you need to know is that it's 299,792,458 meters per second, or as scientists, what we like to plug in is 3 times 10 to the 8th meters per second, just to give it a nice whole number there. Diffraction, we talked a little bit about this in the last chapter. It's the bending of light as it passes around the edge of a barrier. But what's really important is that you know about color. Color is the visible light that we see, and each of those, what we call the visible lights, the colors, has its own wavelength on the electromagnetic spectrum. If you have your reference packet, you actually have a copy of the electromagnetic spectrum on your reference packet, and it shows you just how small of a portion visible light truly is. So when we talk about color, quite often you think of red, yellow, and blue. But when we're talking about light, your primary colors are actually not red, yellow, and blue. Your primary colors are red, green, and blue. Okay? And you can see that in the image here. You have red, you have green, and you have blue. If you've ever gone into Microsoft Word and actually chosen more colors, and then went into that big spectrum where it shows you from red all the way down to bluish purple, and then it gives you black at the bottom, so you can get darker, you can get lighter. If you look at that chart, it actually shows you R, G, and B. So it shows you the red pigments, the red colors, the green colors, and the blue colors that go into making up that color of font that you're choosing. Okay, so what happens is when you mix these colors, you get a secondary color. Just like in art, you mix your primary colors, you get secondary colors. You mix those, you get tertiary colors. The secondary colors that you deal with are yellow, magenta, and cyan. Okay, now remember, we're talking about light. We're not talking about color pigments here. So that does make a difference. And when you combine all of the colors, you get white. Okay, now obviously if we're talking about pigments in art class, yellow, magenta is your red, cyan's your blue. Okay, so if you mix yellow and magenta, you're going to get that orange color. If you mix magenta and cyan, you're going to get purple or violet. If you mix cyan and yellow, you're going to get green. And then you get your tertiary colors, right? But if you mix yellow, magenta, and cyan, if we're talking about pigments, if we're talking about art class, you're going to get black, or this really dark, nasty looking brown. Okay, so there's a difference between colors for light and colors for pigments such as art class. And that's it for today.